All right, time for another little quick update. So it took me a little while to kind of figure out the wiring and stuff because it didn't necessarily come with any instructions so much. That FC3 controller from Fore, but I was able to find some stuff online. They emailed me, I emailed them and asked them, and they sent me some information. But to complicate things, this already had, the aftermarket VMP return style system already in it. So because of that, it wasn't like it was a straight, conversion from the factory harness to this. So I kind of had to redecipher the VMP wiring harness and then convert that and then figure out what was needed to go over to the FC. So it took me a little while to do that, but I eventually figured that out. So I got that all set. That's pretty much what's been going on. I did install, as you see here, I installed the hob switch connected up to the boost line there. So that is, like I mentioned before, that is going to be with 13 pounds of boost. So when we're running high boost, it'll kick in the third pump. And unlike, I think I mentioned this before, unlike how the Fore is set where you run one pump all the time and then you got pumps 2 and 3 to kick on with a hob switch, I'm actually running it in reverse because the GT500s had two fuel pumps already in them, and I have the aftermarket ones which are already higher than more volume basically than the factory ones. So I'm already running bigger pumps, and so I should be good there, most of the time until I get into higher boost, and so then I'm going to turn the third pump on there. So wired that in, as you can see, basically running power at a 4-gauge wire running back to there. I ended up not putting that little breaker or relay breaker up here like I originally had mentioned. I was going to do that relay. I should have looked before I started recording, but somebody that watches and has commented before, he had commented that he had done these before and that that does get pretty hot. So running it under the hood where the engine's going to get hot anyways with the supercharger and everything else might not be the best idea, and it could actually cause it to melt, or could cause some issues with it, just because it runs a little warm already, and then with it being warm under the hood. So thank you for that suggestion. So I will show in a second, but basically I now ran it back under the seat next to the fuel controller, next to that FC module. So that should keep it out of here, and should be fine in the cabin there and stuff like that. So we should be good. But I got that back together, the battery in. Like I said, I got everything run. Now I just need to kind of test it. I did just do, right before I started recording, I just hit the key really quick to make sure the pumps came on. They did, but I did have a little bit of fuel leak, but of course, turning the key on, I couldn't really see. But it looked like it was coming down in here somewhere, so I need to check those quick disconnects and see where, if something's not quite tight or whatnot. But so I'm getting a little bit of a fuel leak somewhere down in there. I think it was mainly from that one. I can kind of see it's a little bit spotted here still from where where the fuel sprayed there. But this one might be leaking a little bit too, but I think it was mainly over on that side. But I do need to get that figured out, or just take a peek at and see where exactly it's squirting from and get that fixed and taken care of. But as we can see back here, I ran the 4-gauge along with the 2 wires for the hob switch through the firewall and back along the door sill there and stuff like that, and then around and back into here, and you can see there it is. So I got the little relay set up back here now instead of up front. So coming in to that and then out from that into the FC controller, like I said, with the a little bit reversed from the factory. So pumps 2 and 3 are going to come on all the time, and then pump 1 should be kicked in by the hob switch, and will run just that. So like I said, once I got the wiring refigured out, because I had to cut a bunch of the wires originally to put the VMP one in, because when I originally got it all those years, several years back, it wasn't necessarily designed for a GT500. He said it would work, but it was more designed just for, you know, normal GTs and stuff like that, because he's like, well, we never thought about it for the GT500 because the GT5 already has a strong fuel system in it compared to just a normal, you know, 5.0 GT. But he said it would work, but they helped me figure out the wiring and where I needed to just splice it in. So it just didn't connect in with the harness. I actually had to cut and kind of splice in. So because of that, like I said, I just kind of had to figure out which wires went where. And like I said, I found in the forums online, I found somebody post that they had done this and basically telling me that because you have the two fuel drivers in back, you don't need the second one. Everything, because this is now your fuel controller. So just taking the primary one, and using that as your trigger wire, so that it would prime and act, you know, kind of like a stock fuel system, but you don't need the second one. So, you know, the wire was not needed for that. And, you know, then setting it so that it wouldn't talk back to the fuel drivers and have them, you know, adjust the voltage for the pumps. Basically, you run them at 100% wide open, which the tune was already set for that way because of the return style system that was set up with that VMP, already aftermarket fuel system. So it was already set up that way. But so the tune shouldn't really need to be adjusted anymore. But sorry, kind of going on there. But this is the setup. So I think we are good. Like I said, I just need to figure out that leak with those quick disconnects. Hopefully I just didn't have something on there quite right, or not tightened up enough, because I do really like the idea of those quick disconnects. So I'm really hoping that they are going to work. And it was just, like I said, I just didn't have something quite snapped in there all the way, or something just wasn't tight. So I'm hoping that's all it was, because I do really like that idea and do want to use those quick disconnects. So, but I've gone on long enough. Again, thank you for the person who, and I apologize, I meant to look up your name before I started recording and I did not. But again, appreciate your suggestion about moving that from away from the hood. But again, thank you for watching, and talk to you later. Bye.